This video is going to be a to-the-point video on how to leverage OpenAI and LangChain to create a chatbot for your own dataset, be it a PDF or a CSV file. Few weeks back, I posted a video on generative AI case study, and many of you requested me to come up with more generative AI projects. So here is my first step. And in this video, I'm going to leverage OpenAI APIs with LangChain to create a chatbot for my own dataset. If you follow this video till the end and replicate my steps, you will be able to create a similar chatbot for yourself. This exact thing can be done without using OpenAI as well by leveraging some open source LLMs such as Llama 2 or Mistral 7B. But that's going to be a part of my next video, and that will be live only when I get a good response on this video. So watch this out till the end and don't forget to like, share and subscribe the channel. What is the use case? The use case is pretty simple. We are going to create a chatbot that is going to be trained on a custom data. Okay. Now imagine one of the classic examples of this is, imagine an education company or maybe a university or a college. So teachers and students, let's say when the student logs into an application, students see a bunch of chatbots, mathematics chatbots, science chatbots and so on. Now these chatbots are trained on their curriculum. That means if the student is class 5 student, then the maths chatbot is related to the class 5 mathematics for their particular whatever, if he is a CBSE student or ICC student, whatever his board is, that particular chatbot. So the teacher has actually trained the chatbot using a custom data. Or else, let's say you have your own document, anything, your travel document or insurance document or anything like that, or guideline document, and you want your users to have a chatbot which will only answers from this particular context, obviously using generative AI. It's not like direct question and answers, but it could be anything. So this is where this use case will come into picture. In this particular video, I'm going to show you one of my custom data. Using that, I'm going to create it. In case you want to replicate this use case, you just have to replicate the code. You provide your OpenAI API keys, and that's it. You provide your own data. Your chatbot will be created on your own data. Okay, so for this exercise, for this particular project, we are using OpenAI plus LangChain. Okay, now OpenAI is our pre-trained models or our large language model that we are going to leverage to create embeddings, and LangChain is basically using on top of this, because LangChain helps you to create a custom data chatbot. What is LangChain? Now LangChain is simply an open source framework that enables AI developers to integrate large language models like GPT 3.5, GPT-4 with external data. It is offered in Python or JavaScript, which is also TypeScript packages. LangChain allows LLMs to reference entire databases when generating answers, enabling access to up-to-date data in the form of reports, documents, and website information. We'll move on to the next slide, which will give us a clear clarity on how it basically works. Okay, so imagine you have your chatbot, right? You have your chatbot here. When your chatbot is opened, you are asking the user to upload a file. Based on that, your chatbot will be activated. So user uploads multiple PDF documents. What happens internally is PDF documents are converted into chunk of text. Now using NLP techniques, they have a chunk of text, blah blah blah. From there we are creating embeddings. Now these embeddings you will be referring to OpenAI, because you are leveraging OpenAI LLMs. So you will be leveraging that and creating your embeddings. How embeddings are created is again an NLP concept. Recommendation will be to go through some of the basic concepts of NLP to get into this project, right? Once your embeddings are done, you are storing it in a vector format. It's like a knowledge base or a database, you can say. Now this is user. When user comes to this particular chatbot, you upload the document and your chatbot is ready, right? Let's say user is asking what is a neural network. From the input, again, what is neural network? Again, we use NLP techniques to tokenize it and create the question embedding, right? This is what is happening here. We create question embedding. Then we are doing a semantic search in the vector database. Let's say, do we have information about neural networks in this vector database? If yes, then it will fetch the results and then also call the LLM for chat completion. So here we again call OpenAI for chat completion. For chat completion. And then you give the answer to the front end or the user. This is how it works. Okay, so we are coming up with an end-to-end generative AI and large language model course as well, which will be launched on this channel and on zepanalytics.com separately. We will make an announcement for that very soon, but for now I'm expecting you all to have all this basic knowledge, right? For this particular video we are going to stick to OpenAI. Obviously there are some data privacy issues here, but we are using OpenAI APIs in current organization as well. So again, there are some data privacy issues. You always have to go for the documentation and then take a call. If you have strict policies of data privacy, you can always switch from OpenAI to some open source models like Llama 2 or Mistral 7B or maybe Zephyr 7B, and there are many more models. We also have a package called as Olama, which also gives you a flexibility to use multiple LLMs. You see if something is working better for you, you can actually use that. Okay, so that's all about the theoretical part on how it is going to work. Let's jump into the practicals part. See you. Well, I have already created the entire Flask application. I have all the files ready. I just don't want to create something from scratch in this particular video because it will lead me to have a very long video. We want to keep it short. The codes will be available to you in the description at the cost of 100 likes. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe the channel. Okay, let's get started with this. So here are some of the necessary libraries that we are importing. We are importing LangChain community vector stores. So FAISS, LangChain OpenAI, we are using this OpenAI embeddings. LangChain conversational retrieval base, we are using conversational retrieval base. What exactly is this? I will talk about it. And then some Flask methods, and then PyPDF2. Why PyPDF2? PyPDF2 is basically for reading the PDF documents. In case your requirement is not with PDF documents, you can go ahead with CSV or something else. In that case, the reading mechanism will change, right? Here, when you have PDF, you are reading PDF, right? That's why we have PyPDF2. And then we have this LangChain character text splitter, blah blah blah. So all these are importing libraries, right? So this is where you need to pass your own OpenAI API key. That is one of the reasons why I have not shown the app.py, because it has my OpenAI key which I don't want to expose. You can use this code, use your own API keys. How to generate OpenAI API keys? It's very simple. Go to openai.com and you can create your own key. They will be able to give you $5 of initial credits. Create it and test it out, right? And then I am initiating my Flask application. I've created some of my basic variables. Now what is this? What is this piece of code doing? This piece of code is basically doing the PDF reading part, right? So here is the PDF extraction. So we have defined a function where we are extracting text from PDF documents using the PyPDF2 library. The next part is get text chunks. What's happening here is we have defined a function to split the extracted text into chunks for processing. So we are doing character text splitter. So imagine who is Ram. You are taking this entire line and you are doing a character text split. Okay. So after that, we have this get vector space where we are generating a vector store from the text chunks using OpenAI embeddings and FAISS for efficient retrieval conversational chain initialization. Okay, so we have defined our embeddings. We are calling FAISS from text, and then we are passing the text chunks, and we are calling the embeddings that has been created here. And then what's happening is get conversation chain. So here we are passing the vector store. So so here what's happening is we have created a chat OpenAI. So it's basically initializes a conversational retrieval chain for handling chat interactions with a large language model and memory. Okay, and then after that it's the basic index.html rendering part where we are rendering the HTML file present inside here. And then we have process documents where we are kind of reading the input PDF that the user is passing and processing it. And then we are calling all these functions, get PDF, and then do this, something like that, right? And then lastly we have this slash chat where we are taking the question from the user and then getting a context from our vector space. This part we are getting the question and then doing a semantic search on the vector store. Okay, so it's not that complex. Now in case you don't want to use OpenAI and you want to use something else, let's say llama 2 or maybe some other models, now this is where you need to change your piece of code. It will be like few lines of code changes, but don't worry, I will come up with that video as well, maybe in couple of weeks. Okay, that's it. We will jump into the Flask application part quickly. So I have this piece of code. I'm going to open my Anaconda prompt, Python app.py. Now, before getting into this, let me also show you the templates. So this is also a pain point when it comes to creating a Flask application, right? In case you are not familiar with HTML and CSS, you can always convert a piece of code to Streamlit, right? Once your code is ready, just pass this entire code to ChatGPT and ask, can you convert this into a Streamlit application? And you will be able to create it. Now, in my case, I have a team. So one of my web developers have actually created this HTML file. So that is why I'm able to use this. I'm not that talented to create such HTML files or HTML these things. And this is how both the things looks like. Okay, so my application is already ready and it is running here. I will just right click and take it and start it, and you can see my chatbot is ready. So let me extract some of the documents. Let's say I'm going to use one of my documents from here, let's say Python, and then process. So I'm basically using this Python file. Okay, uh, okay, so let's say what are the features, we'll ask some questions from it. Okay, okay, what is a lambda function, we'll ask. What is a lambda function? Lambda function is a small anonymous. You can see it is not able to answer something which is not in that document, right? So you can test it out with multiple files also. So let's say we'll ask something else as well. Let me pass one of my other files. So I'll go back. So let's say I will be passing one of my other files, let's say PDFs. So this is one of my something related to climate change and sustainability. So I'm doing this. So when was Paris Agreement adopted? So it is basically able to get from that piece of data. If you open this document, okay, so that's it. That's all about this particular use case, and the entire piece of code will be available to you, but at the cost of 100 likes. As I've already mentioned, please like, share and subscribe the channel.